Hey guys, welcome back to Madera Farms. We are in the kitchen working on our microbakery, and I have 3 loaves in the oven as we speak, and we are going to be baking all day. I have a big delivery that needs to go out, so I am trying to get this stuff done as soon as possible. There are a few things that I upgraded this week in the microbakery, and I thought I would share those with you and give my honest opinion on if I'm liking them or are they a flop. The first thing is bread slings. If you follow any bread accounts on Instagram, you probably have seen bread slings. And in my mind, I was loving the idea. I thought they would be so helpful, but I'm actually not really loving them. I think it's because I do so many inclusions. What happens is the grease from my pepperoni, it gets into the bottom of the pans, and then I have to clean out my pans every time I put a new loaf in. When I was using the parchment paper, I would just take out the parchment paper and throw it away, and my Dutch oven will be clean. And that's happening with a lot of my inclusions. So I think either I need to designate one of my Dutch ovens for just plain loaves and my everything loaves, and I can use the bread slings, or need to figure out a different way. The one thing that I do love about them is they're super easy to get the bread out of the Dutch oven. So these you just pull out. They do get hot, so you still have to use or pot holders or whatever oven mitts, but they're super easy to pull out of the Dutch oven. The other good thing about this is on here, you can see that it gives you your inches of your bread, so that helps keep it consistent. However, my loaves are much bigger. So my loaves are literally coming to the outside of these slings, and that makes it hard to keep on here as well. So I personally am sticking with these just to try and give it my honest go, but I'm not loving them. If you make smaller loaves, or if you're just making plain loaves, these would be a great option for you. The bread does not stick to them, and that is another thing that I really like. But again, I do a lot of inclusions for my customers, so these just aren't the best in my opinion. As of right now, that could change. Another upgrade that I made to my microbakery are these labels. I got these on Amazon. Another thing that I upgraded to are reusable plastic bags. I was using like grocery bags, like a Walmart plastic bag when I cold proofed. Because I'm doing it in my refrigerator, I don't really feel comfortable just leaving it uncovered. I do see a lot of people doing that. However, that's not working in my situation. I think this whole thing was $4, and if I'm not mistaken, there's like 200 or 400 in here, and they look just like this. And then you can use these all throughout your house, like if you have mason jars to cover or anything, and they expand pretty big. So once I'm done forming my dough and doing my inclusions, I put them into a Banneton basket, and then I just put this right over top, put it into the refrigerator. Another thing that I always do is any of my inclusions, I'll put one piece of ingredient on the top so I know what it is. So if I want to make sure to cook the 2 pepperoni at the same time, I always just put like a slice of pepperoni at the top. If it's a blueberry, put a blueberry, pickle, whatever. It just helps me like identify what loaf is what. So then once this comes off, like you can see this one's still a little damp. I just turn it inside out, and then I'll put it over like my faucet, or I have my Berkey. I can just like hang it on the leg of my Berkey stand, and I'll just let that dry out for an hour or so, and then I can package all of these back up and they're ready to use again and again. This has been really helpful. Honestly, I've been looking at these for a while, and I don't know why I was so hesitant on spending $4. But this is something that's really, really helpful for me, because I was running out of bags because I would throw them out and I would have to write on them to label them. And I don't like using that. I just feel more comfortable using these. So that is a perfect upgrade. 10 out of 10, recommend that one. Another thing that I've gotten for my microbakery is another Dutch oven. I've been looking for a Dutch oven that doesn't break the bank. I see so many out there from William and Sonoma that are so beautiful, but they're $200. And I'm not trying to spend a ton of money. I'm trying to make money. And I'm sure that's what you would want to do too. So I found a Dutch oven on Amazon. Again, I'll link everything in the description so you can grab all of this stuff. And it was $49. It's, I think, 6 quart. It's a big Dutch oven, but I love it. It works so well, and it doesn't have the knob on the top, which I think I touched on this in the last video. If you want to cook multiple loaves in your oven and you're able to stack your racks, if you don't have that knob at the top, you're able to probably get 4 in your oven. So that's what I did, and I love it. I think it's such a good Dutch oven for the price. A few other things that I grabbed were some more Banneton baskets. I talked about Banneton baskets in my last video. If you don't use a Banneton basket and you're just using different things that are in your kitchen, you can totally do that. The one thing that I will say about Banneton baskets is if you're going to be making a bunch of loaves for, let's say, some sort of restaurant or, I don't know, a retail store, you want your loaves to be pretty consistent in size and shape, and that helps when you use a Banneton basket. If you're using maybe loaf pans and you're lining them with different towels or whatever, you'll notice that your bread gets a little misshapen. And I've done that just so I could show you guys what that looks like. This loaf is for us, and this was done using a loaf pan and a really, really thin kitchen towel or tea towel. I kind of use my tea towels as kitchen towels. But this is what it came out looking like. It's more square, as you can see, and it's fine. Like it's fine, but it's a little wonky. You can see over here, there's a knob on the side. So it's not the most beautiful thing. Again, totally edible, but this is the difference. This was in a Banneton basket. And you can see this looks a lot more uniformed, and it just looks a little bit better. So if you're selling to a store, I do recommend trying to get some Banneton baskets in your collection just so you can get that more uniform look. This one was also done in a Banneton basket, and you can see it's more circular. It looks a little bit more uniform than the other. So do Banneton baskets make a difference as far as what your loaf will end up tasting like? No, not at all. It's just going to give you more consistency when it comes to shaping your loaf. I think that's it as far as upgrades go. I've been getting a lot of questions about MicroBakery things. I figured I would end this video by answering the questions that I've been getting, so that if you are starting a microbakery or want to start a microbakery, maybe these are some of the questions that you have and I can answer them for you. One of the main questions I get is, how much do I charge for my loaves? And that is really going to depend on your area. I live in a pretty cheap area. I live in Erie, PA. So things here are significantly cheaper than maybe if you live in a big city, Chicago, New York, anything like that. Even like a Pittsburgh is going to be, you could probably get a little bit more for your loaf. So my plain loaves go for $8, and any inclusions, including my everything, those go for $10. I do have an option for a special request loaf. So if someone is really wanting something that you don't offer, say they want just like a pepper and Swiss. That was a request that I got. I do have an option on my website where they can get special request loaves. I'm not opposed to making anything. I just don't want to keep carrying a bunch of ingredients if I'm getting one-offs. And that's something that you'll need to evaluate. If you get requests for the same thing over and over and over, then I would definitely add it to your menu. But if you are getting one person asking for one specific loaf, then I would just either say we don't offer that or offer it at an upcharge. So it's $12 for any special request. Like I've seen a lot of like sprinkle loaves and stuff like that. That again would be a special request because I don't do that on a regular basis. So those are just some ideas on pricing. My donuts go for $8 and you get half a dozen. And then I do mini loaves at $6 because I don't cut my costs in half for a mini loaf because I'm still doing all of the same work. I'm just not using as much ingredients. but I'm still taking up just as much time and resources to make the loaf. The next question that I get asked often is lead time. How much time do you need from your customer to be able to make the bread? If you work with sourdough, you know that you need at least 24 hours from the time you start your dough to the time that you end. And you probably need a little bit more than that if you need to feed your starter. I always have at least a 2-day lead time. So I request that all of my orders that are for Thursday pickup are in by Tuesday. And then that way I can feed my starter Tuesday morning, and then I can start my dough. By Tuesday night, I know exactly what I need for my inclusions, and then I can make them. So I request a 2-day lead time on any order. And I actually have that in my website. It's set so that as soon as that 12 o'clock, as soon as Tuesday comes around, it shuts down orders for Thursday. So I don't have to worry about it. The website does that for me, which is really, really nice. The next thing that I often get asked is how much time does it take to bake all of these loaves? And I bake for 45 minutes per loaf, but again, I'm baking 3 at a time. So I can get about 12 loaves out in a few hours. If you have one Dutch oven and you're baking 1 at a time, it's going to take you forever. So if you're starting a microbakery and you really want to bust out your loaves quickly, which I highly recommend you do, especially if you are working with a electric stove, because your electric bill is going to skyrocket. So spending a little bit on a few Dutch ovens is going to save you in the long run, because you're not keeping your oven on for hours and hours. That's what I did, and it did not work out for me. That's why I got another Dutch oven, and honestly, I'm probably going to buy another one too. But 45 minutes per loaf, it's 30 minutes with the lid on and then 15 minutes with the lid off, and I can turn those out pretty quick. Another question I get asked a lot is, what kind of flour do you use? And I use a unbleached bread flour. I do buy my flour still at big box stores. I'm looking to get it sourced locally, because that's something that I really want to do, is source all of my ingredients locally. However, I'm finding it really hard to find flour in my area. The closest place is like 4 hours away, and I'm just not willing to make that journey to get flour. And they said they would not ship it to me. We are out of their area. It's a Amish place that mills it, so I get it. But I am in the market to find it local. But for right now, I just get it where I can, and it works. It's fine. But bread flour, unbleached bread flour is what you want to use. It's going to give you the best spring in your bread. As you can see, these loaves are coming out looking super pretty. So that's what you want to do. Another question I get asked a lot is, how do you time out your loaves and you're feeding your starter and baking? And there's a couple different ways you can do this. I started out first feeding my starter at like 5 in the morning when I wake up. I'm a early riser, so I get up at like 5, go out and do the barn chores. So what I would do, flour on my nose. What I would do is I would feed my starter right in the morning. I would go out to the barn, get the kids up, do all the things. And then once my starter was ready, maybe like, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock, I would start making my dough. And then I would let it sit all day until about 8 o'clock at night. And then I put it out onto my counter. I do all my inclusions, and then I let it cold proof in the refrigerator overnight. Bake it first thing in the morning. That routine works really, really well. I tried mixing it up and feeding my starter at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then starting my bread at like 8, or starting my loaves at 8, and then 8 p.m., and then letting the dough sit all night to rise. The problem with that is my starter is really active. So I don't need that much time for my bread to completely double and rise. It was overproofing so much. And I did this for two sets of orders, and I was not happy with the results of the loaves. They taste fine. It's just they didn't look the way they should. And I'll put a picture right here so you guys can see. It just didn't proof the way I want it to. and I know that my dough was overproofed and just not happy with the results. So I'm going to go back to option A, which I just talked about. And that's just how I'm going to have to do it, because I don't want to wake up at 3 in the morning and form all my loaves. Another question I get asked is how to get customers. And this one can vary again on your area, but my main thing is Facebook is a huge one. I post every Tuesday or every Monday and every Friday, just letting people know Thursday orders are open, Sunday orders are open, go ahead and place your order. Instagram, I put it on my stories. And then there's an app called Nextdoor. It is a lot of just your neighbors on there, which is perfect. I got a ton of orders through them. So you could post on that. It's kind of like a Facebook, but just for your community. And then I hand out business cards all the time. I like to talk to different people in the area and just let them know that I'm making bread. And if they are looking for a place to get sourdough bread, that I'm their girl. And that's how I've been doing it. And don't be afraid to ask people. If you're in a conversation and they're asking what you do for work, bring it up. Let them know I'm running a microbakery. You want a loaf of whatever, it's my best seller. Yeah, just reach out to your community. I'm sure that they would love a loaf of bread. Who doesn't? I also get asked often how my bread club works, and that has been a great thing for me. I will keep doing the bread club forever because it's just so nice to have these consistent orders. It's a group of people that are really invested in your artistry, your bread. They really want to help you grow, and they will spread the word. And how it works is they sign up for 6 months. They pay $24 a month, and they get a free they pay $24 a month, and they get a plain loaf every Thursday, and they can upgrade for $2. So if they want to do an inclusion instead of a plain loaf, they just pay $2 and they can pick whatever they want. They have to let me know by Tuesday for their Thursday pickup, whatever loaf they want. I do send out multiple reminders. So I just have a text where I have made pretty much just a copy paste. So I just put in the template, I changed maybe the date or time or whatever, and just keep sending that out so that they have reminders that either 1, it's the last time to upgrade, or 2, your bread is ready today from this time to this time, please pick it up. And then I do offer a delivery if someone can't pick it up, just because these people are really valuable to my business. So I do offer that, and I don't put that out there. I'm not like, hey, I can just deliver it to you. If they cannot pick up and there's a reason why, then I'm more than happy to deliver. But I don't, the whole point of it is that they pick it up here instead of me running all over the place. But that's pretty much all the questions that I get when it comes to my microbakery. I hope you guys find this very helpful. I know this was just me kind of talking, but I do get a lot of questions, and I wanted to help you guys as much as possible. If you have more questions, please leave them in the comments. I will be looking through them, answering any questions that I can. If you follow me over on Instagram at Madeira Farms, I post a lot of helpful tips and tricks and just some funny reels over there that are sourdough related. But I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you have an awesome day, and I hope that you start your microbakery soon. If you've already started, let me know in the comments how it's going. And I wish you all the best when it comes to your success with your microbakery. Thank you so much. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye, friends.